Sister Bernadette, a name that has come to be associated with a remarkable prophecy, is a figure whose message has intrigued spiritual communities and those who study prophecy alike. In particular, the Sister Bernadette prophecy for 2025 inches has garnered attention due to its extraordinary insights into the future of humanity, global events, and spiritual awakening. Though Sister Bernadette is not as widely known as some of the more famous figures in the realm of prophecy, such as Nostradamus or Edgar Cayce, her words are nevertheless significant to those who seek deeper meaning in the events unfolding in the world. According to various accounts, Sister Bernadette was a cloistered nun and mystic who lived in relative obscurity, but her spiritual experiences and visions were profound. Over the course of her life, she claimed to have received divine revelations, some of which pointed to a transformative period in human history that would culminate in the year 2025. While some dismiss these visions as the ramblings of an isolated religious figure, others see them as a roadmap for navigating the coming challenges and opportunities of our time. The prophecy itself, as relayed by those who claim to have encountered her teachings, suggests a period of intense global upheaval and spiritual awakening. According to Sister Bernadette's visions, 2025 will mark the beginning of a new era, one characterized by a great purification process, not only of the earth but also of humanity's collective consciousness. This period of transformation is said to be catalyzed by both natural and human-made disasters, including environmental crises, political upheaval, and economic collapse. However, the prophecy also emphasizes the potential for spiritual enlightenment and the possibility of a renewed global consciousness. One of the key elements of the Sister Bernadette prophecy is the notion of an awakening that is set to occur around 2025. This awakening, according to her visions, will be a spiritual rebirth of sorts, as people across the globe will begin to realize the interconnectedness of all life. The prophecy speaks of a collective shift in human awareness, one that transcends the materialistic and divisive paradigms that have dominated the modern world. It suggests that humanity's focus will gradually shift from individualism and self-interest to cooperation, compassion, and a deeper respect for the planet and its resources. At the heart of the prophecy is a message of hope, urging individuals to prepare themselves spiritually and emotionally for the changes that are expected. While the challenges ahead may seem daunting, Sister Bernadette's words emphasize that this is a necessary process in the journey toward a higher state of being. The transformation she foresees will not be easy, but it is essential for humanity's evolution. Those who are prepared, both spiritually and mentally, will be able to navigate the coming trials and emerge stronger on the other side. Sister Bernadette's prophecy also includes a warning to humanity. While there is hope for a better future, the prophecy stresses that those who cling to outdated beliefs, destructive habits, and harmful behaviors will struggle to adapt to the new world that is emerging. The spiritual cleansing process mentioned in the prophecy is intended to help humanity shed these negative patterns and align more closely with a higher purpose. Those who resist this shift may find themselves increasingly disconnected from the flow of global transformation. In recent years, interest in the Sister Bernadette prophecy has been rekindled by increasing global instability. Climate change, geopolitical tensions, and social unrest have made the world seem on the brink of major transformation. For many, the idea that 2025 might be a pivotal year holds significant resonance. Whether one interprets the prophecy as a spiritual allegory or a literal forecast of future events, it undoubtedly invites individuals to reflect on the nature of human existence and our collective responsibility to one another and the planet. Bernadette Salbiris, born on January 7, 1844, in the mill of Beaulieu near Lourdes, France, came from an impoverished family that struggled with poverty and basic needs. Despite these hardships, Bernadette's family maintained a strong and unwavering faith in God, which would become a crucial foundation in her later life. Raised in a deeply Catholic environment, Bernadette's spirituality blossomed in the midst of her challenging circumstances. From an early age, Bernadette displayed qualities of humility, sincerity, and a profound devotion to prayer. Her health was fragile, and she suffered from asthma, which caused her significant physical limitations. This illness, combined with her lack of formal education, meant that she was unable to read or write fluently, which contributed to her being perceived as a simple, unremarkable girl by those around her. Her modesty and lack of worldly accomplishments only added to the sense of her ordinariness, which would later make the events of her life even more striking. In February 1858, when Bernadette was just 14 years old, she began to experience a series of visions that would forever alter the course of her life and leave a profound mark on the world. The first apparition occurred at the Grotto of Massabielle, near Lourdes. Bernadette described seeing a radiant figure, a beautiful lady dressed in white with a blue sash and yellow roses at her feet. This figure, later identified as the Virgin Mary, spoke to Bernadette with messages of penance, prayer, and the need for spiritual renewal. Over the next few months, Bernadette experienced 17 more apparitions, during which the lady entrusted her with important spiritual messages. One of the most significant moments came when the Virgin Mary instructed Bernadette to dig in the ground at the grotto, where a spring of water emerged. This water would later become a site of healing and miracles, drawing countless pilgrims from all over the world to Lourdes. Despite skepticism and challenges from local authorities, Bernadette remained steadfast in her faith and commitment to the apparitions. Her simple, unpretentious nature made her a powerful witness to the divine, and her story continues to inspire millions. Bernadette Soubirous was canonized as a saint by the Catholic Church in 1933, and her legacy endures in the ongoing pilgrimage to Lourdes, a place of healing and grace. Over the course of several months in 1858, the Virgin Mary appeared to a young Bernadette Soubirous in the small town of Lourdes, France, delivering a series of profound and deeply spiritual messages. These apparitions were not just simple religious encounters. They were a call to action, urging repentance, prayer for sinners, and a plea for humanity to return to a more devout and moral life. One of the most striking elements of the apparitions was when Mary identified herself with the words, "I am the Immaculate Conception," a title which had been officially declared by Pope Pius Roman IX just 4 years prior, in 1854. This revelation confirmed Catholic dogma and cemented Bernadette's visions as a divine intervention rather than mere hallucinations or misunderstandings. The apparitions also included miraculous signs that validated Bernadette's experiences and drew attention to the sacredness of the site. In one of the visions, Mary instructed Bernadette to dig into the earth, where she uncovered a spring of water that continues to flow to this day. This spring became renowned for its supposed healing properties, and soon Lourdes became a major pilgrimage destination. People from all over the world travel to Lourdes, hoping to experience physical and spiritual healing through the waters of the spring. Countless reports of miraculous recoveries have been associated with the site, strengthening the belief in its divine power. Yet, the Virgin Mary's messages were not just focused on individual healing. Her warnings were also directed at the broader state of humanity, urging people to turn away from moral decay and societal division. Her words, though spoken over 160 years ago, still resonate with contemporary issues, such as the rise of materialism, the erosion of moral values, and the increasing fragmentation of society. Mary's plea for spiritual renewal remains a vital message for the modern world, which continues to face moral and ethical crises. As we look toward the future, particularly the year 2025, a time predicted by many to be filled with unprecedented challenges, these messages of repentance and renewal may hold even greater significance. Could the warnings issued by the Virgin Mary to Bernadette be an omen, a call for humanity to reassess its path and seek healing in both the spiritual and physical realms? The year 2025 may be a moment when the world confronts these profound challenges and the timeless message of Lourdes is more relevant than ever. Fast forward to 2025, and the world finds itself caught in the throes of multiple crises, each one interwoven with the others. Climate change is wreaking havoc on ecosystems, social unrest is spreading across continents, political polarization has reached unprecedented levels, and there is a pervasive sense of global uncertainty. People everywhere are questioning the future, feeling overwhelmed by the magnitude of the challenges we face. In this context, the messages of Bernadette, a young French girl who lived in the 19th century, hold a unique resonance. Though delivered during a specific historical moment, her messages transcend time and speak directly to the spiritual and social dilemmas that continue to define our era. One of the most striking aspects of Bernadette's visions, particularly the one she experienced at the grotto in Lourdes, was the emphasis on penance and prayer. In her time, these practices were primarily seen as personal spiritual exercises, with the individual seeking salvation or purification through acts of devotion. Yet, when we look at these messages from the perspective of 2025, their significance seems to extend beyond individual acts of penance to something more collective. In today's world, where the consequences of human actions such as environmental degradation, unchecked greed, and ongoing conflict are increasingly apparent, could Bernadette's call for repentance be seen as a call for humanity to change its destructive behaviors on a global scale? The idea of repentance in Bernadette's messages can be interpreted as a challenge to humanity's current trajectory. The urgency of the climate crisis, the rise of social inequality, and the intensification of geopolitical conflicts suggests that humanity has lost its way in some fundamental respects. Bernadette's call for repentance could therefore be a metaphor for the need to turn away from destructive paths and toward more sustainable, compassionate, and peaceful ways of living. Just as she was asked to pray for the conversion of sinners, perhaps our task now is to pray for and actively work toward a collective transformation, a shift in our attitudes toward the environment, toward one another, and toward the world as a whole. In this sense, Bernadette's message resonates not only with individuals seeking personal salvation, but also with communities and nations grappling with systemic issues that threaten the well-being of the planet and its inhabitants. The other central element of Bernadette's visions is the miraculous spring at Lourdes, which has long been associated with healing. Over the years, millions of people have visited the site, seeking both physical and spiritual renewal. In 2025, as the world continues to battle not only health crises like pandemics, but also rising rates of mental health challenges, this symbol of hope and restoration feels particularly significant. In Bernadette's time, the spring was viewed as a miraculous gift that provided physical healing for those who came in faith. Today, however, in a world where healthcare systems are under strain and many feel disconnected from the divine or from their own spiritual well-being, the symbolism of Lourdes takes on an even deeper meaning. The connection between spiritual well-being and physical health, which was emphasized in Bernadette's visions, aligns closely with modern holistic approaches to healing. In a time when many people are turning to alternative medicine, mindfulness practices, and emotional health as essential components of their well-being, Bernadette's messages echo these trends. The healing waters of Lourdes can be seen as a symbol of the interconnectedness of body, mind, and spirit, an idea that is increasingly recognized in the medical and wellness communities today. It suggests that true healing does not merely address the symptoms of illness, but also the underlying spiritual and emotional causes. Bernadette's message, then, becomes an invitation to look at health and healing from a more integrated perspective, one that considers the individual's inner life as well as their physical condition. Moreover, Bernadette's visions emphasize the importance of prayer, which can be seen as a way to bring people together in collective solidarity. In a world that is more divided than ever, prayer offers a potential point of unity. Whether through prayer for peace, for healing, or for a better future, it can act as a unifying force that transcends national borders, political ideologies, and social divides. The collective energy of millions of people praying for common goals, such as climate action, social justice, or world peace, could be a powerful antidote to the fragmentation and discord that characterize much of the modern world. As we look ahead to 2025, the messages of Bernadette serve as both a spiritual and a moral guide. In a time of global crisis, they remind us of the power of personal and collective transformation. The call to penance, to turn away from destruction and toward healing, resonates deeply with the challenges humanity faces today. Likewise, the miraculous spring of Lourdes offers a symbol of hope, renewal, and the interconnectedness of body, mind, and spirit. In this way, Bernadette's messages offer both a spiritual and practical roadmap for addressing the crises of our time. They invite us to embrace change, to heal, and to work together for the common good, offering not just answers, but the hope that we can indeed create a more harmonious and compassionate world. As we approach the challenges of 2025, we can draw profound lessons from the life and prophetic messages of Saint Bernadette Soubirous, whose visions of the Virgin Mary at Lourdes have resonated through the centuries. These messages are timeless and offer guidance for a world facing many trials. Here are 4 key lessons we can learn from Bernadette's life and her spiritual messages. Bernadette's life is a testament to the power of humility and faith. Born into a poor family and often ill, she was not a likely candidate for a prophetic role. Yet, her simplicity and deep faith allowed her to become the vessel through which the Virgin Mary communicated her messages. In a world increasingly obsessed with power, material success, and status, Bernadette's story reminds us that true greatness lies not in worldly accomplishments, but in the purity of heart and the strength of our beliefs. Her humility challenges us to prioritize kindness, service to others, and a deep, unwavering faith in something greater than ourselves. As we approach 2025, we are called to rediscover these core values in the face of growing societal pressures that often overshadow spiritual growth. The Virgin Mary's repeated calls to Bernadette for prayer and repentance are as relevant today as they were in the 19th century. These messages emphasize the necessity of spiritual renewal in a world rife with distractions. In 2025, as technological advancements continue to dominate our lives and moral relativism spreads, it is more important than ever to stay grounded in spiritual practices that foster clarity and purpose. Bernadette's message invites us to create space for reflection and prayer, urging us to turn inward to rejuvenate our spirits. By doing so, we can find the strength to face external challenges and make wiser, more compassionate decisions. As our societies become increasingly fast-paced, her call for quiet reflection reminds us that true peace comes not from external accomplishments, but from an inner connection with our higher self and divine guidance. In her visions, Bernadette saw not only physical healing, but also spiritual and communal restoration. She received messages urging people to come together in prayer and reconciliation. In an age of division, where race, religion, and politics often lead to conflict, Bernadette's example teaches us the power of unity. Her vision at Lourdes was one of healing, a reminder that, despite our differences, we are all united in our shared humanity. As we approach 2025, with the world facing geopolitical tensions, economic inequality, and social unrest, the message of reconciliation and unity becomes ever more crucial. We are invited to transcend the divisions that separate us and seek common ground, whether through shared values or mutual understanding, in order to create a more peaceful world. The spring at Lourdes, where Bernadette's visions took place, has become a symbol of hope and healing for millions. It serves as a reminder that even in our darkest times, healing is possible. This is a profound message for a world that faces numerous challenges, from climate change to political instability, economic crises, and global health threats. The message of Lourdes calls us to maintain hope, even in the face of adversity, and to trust that healing, both physical and spiritual, is achievable. As we look toward 2025, the world's many crises may seem overwhelming, But Bernadette's example encourages us to believe in the possibility of recovery and renewal. Her message reminds us that hope can be a transformative force, helping us find strength in times of hardship and work toward healing in our communities. The visions of Saint Bernadette Soubirous, who witnessed apparitions of the Virgin Mary in 1858 at Lourdes, have long been considered a powerful source of spiritual guidance. While Bernadette herself never claimed that her visions contained predictions of the future, many scholars and theologians have suggested that the messages imparted during these apparitions may hold prophetic elements. In particular, the Virgin Mary's frequent warnings about sin, repentance, and the need for spiritual renewal have been interpreted by some as timeless cautions against paths that lead to destruction. These messages are seen by many as not just relevant for her contemporaries, but as offering insight into the struggles of future generations, including the challenges humanity faces in the modern era. One of the most compelling aspects of Bernadette's visions is the emphasis placed on repentance and spiritual conversion. The Virgin Mary's call to pray for sinners resonates deeply, particularly as we look at the world today. Environmental crises, political instability, economic inequality, and moral decay suggest that humanity is at a crossroads, with paths leading toward either destruction or renewal. Could the events of 2025 encompassing environmental catastrophes, spiritual crises, and social upheavals be seen as the fulfillment of these warnings? Some might argue that the increasing frequency of natural disasters, the rise of geopolitical tensions, and the growing disillusionment with modern society reflect a deeper, spiritual malaise, a consequence of ignoring the call for repentance and transformation that Bernadette's visions represent. However, interpretations of Bernadette's messages vary, and many view them not as predictions of specific future events, but rather as universal teachings meant to inspire personal and collective spiritual growth. For instance, her visions urge the faithful to embrace a life of simplicity, humility, and prayer, a message that transcends time. While there may be no clear-cut prophecy regarding the specific events of 2025, the principles behind Bernadette's visions are undeniably relevant today. The call to return to the basics of faith, to put trust in divine guidance, and to seek reconciliation with God and others remains as urgent now as it was in the 19th century. As we contemplate Bernadette's legacy, it becomes evident that her example offers more than just spiritual reflection. It is a call to action. Faith, as demonstrated by Bernadette, is not a passive state of mind, but a living, breathing practice that can transform individuals and societies. Throughout her life, Bernadette faced skepticism and ridicule from those who doubted the authenticity of her visions. Yet, her unwavering trust in the Virgin Mary's words and her courage to persist in the face of adversity serves as a powerful testament to the transformative power of faith. Bernadette's ability to maintain her conviction despite the overwhelming pressure from both secular and religious authorities speaks to the strength that faith can provide in overcoming life's trials. In 2025, as humanity stands on the precipice of numerous challenges, Bernadette's example becomes even more pertinent. Environmental disasters, economic turbulence, and deepening social divisions are clear signs of a world in turmoil. Yet, Bernadette's legacy encourages us to hold fast to our spiritual convictions. Whether through prayer, acts of kindness, or a commitment to justice, we are called to be agents of change. By embracing the values of humility, compassion, and prayer, values that Bernadette embodied, we can contribute to the healing of a wounded world. Moreover, Bernadette's story reminds us that faith is not merely an individual journey, but one that can ripple out and transform entire communities. In times of crisis, it is often the collective strength of individuals grounded in their spiritual beliefs that offers a beacon of hope and the possibility of renewal. As the world continues to face crises, the message of Lourdes, rooted in faith, hope, and charity, continues to inspire those who are willing to listen and act. In the face of overwhelming odds, Bernadette's unwavering faith serves as a light for those navigating uncertain times. While we cannot know with certainty what the future holds, we can take comfort in the example of a simple young woman who, despite the odds, trusted in the Virgin Mary's messages of hope and repentance. Bernadette's legacy is a reminder that, in the face of challenges both spiritual and material, faith has the power to heal, to transform, and to guide us toward a more just and compassionate world. As we reflect on the life and legacy of Saint Bernadette Soubirous, it becomes clear that her journey is more than just a historical event. It is a living testament to the power of humility, faith, and devotion. Born into simple circumstances, she was chosen to carry a message that transcends time and place. Her visions, which led to the discovery of the miraculous spring at Lourdes, are a beacon of hope and healing, reminding us of the profound connection between the human spirit and the divine. As we look ahead to 2025, the world continues to face challenges that test our resilience and faith. Economic uncertainty, social divisions, and global crises seem to cast long shadows over our collective future. Yet, in the midst of these struggles, Bernadette's message offers a source of strength. Her call for repentance, faith, and spiritual renewal is as relevant today as it was when she first encountered the Blessed Virgin Mary in the grotto of Massabielle. The lessons she imparted remind us that the path to healing, both personal and collective, begins with inner transformation and a return to simple, authentic faith. Saint Bernadette's unwavering trust in God, despite the skepticism and trials she faced, serves as a powerful example for us all. Her humility in the face of adversity challenges us to examine our own spiritual lives and reconsider where we place our trust. In times of uncertainty, she reminds us that true healing and peace come not from external circumstances, but from the grace that flows from within when we open our hearts to God's love. As we embrace the coming year, let us allow Bernadette's example to guide us. Let us seek renewal through prayer, reflection, and a deeper commitment to love and unity. Like the waters of Lourdes, which continue to bring healing to countless people, so too can we find within ourselves the power to heal, to forgive, and to rebuild. May the light of faith, as it shone in the life of Saint Bernadette, illuminate our paths, bringing peace and hope to all.